Hello everyone, Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews with the HP Omen 27 G-Sync gaming monitor. Actually, HP Omen, it doesn't mention HP anywhere on this monitor itself. So let's look at this monitor itself and let's start with what actually really impressed me. You know, with a lot of gaming monitors, it can be super tacky. I'm not going to mention any names like ROG for example, but some monitors are really tacky looking. What I really like with the Omen 27 is it looks classy. It looks like very subdued. It just looks like a professional monitor without really any crazy looks or gold accents or red accents anywhere. As you may see already, there is like a red glow, but you can turn that off, and it's also RGB, so you can color match it to whatever, but you can also turn it off. Everything just looks really, nice and classy. So the foot or the stand, very simple. It's just a little square at the bottom and a very thin steel pillar. And this base gives the monitor height adjust, so you can raise and lower it so it's comfortable to use. And then within the mount itself, that's where you get tilt, so you can just increase the angle forwards or backwards to, suit your viewing needs. There's no swivel here, but that's okay, as you can just, rotate the stand itself. HP also includes a VESA mount, so as you can see there are no square holes at the back for mounting a VESA mount plate. So it uses a little VESA adapter because HP really wanted that super slim mount on there. The mount itself is not super sturdy, especially because it's just a little plastic joint and it's very thin, so it's just a one button press to undo it, so it's not super sturdy. But if you move your desk around a lot, or if you just slam on your keyboard, the screen is not going to wobble or anything. It's just not as sturdy as some other ones, so it's perfectly fine, and the build quality actually is really good. What I actually like an awful lot with this monitor is the very thin bezels all around, although the bottom bezel is slightly thicker. Now I would have preferred that HP actually put the menu control buttons in that bezel, but instead it's on the rear. Now about that menu, it's probably the only thing I don't like about this monitor, so let's start with that. It looks super outdated. It's not easy to navigate, especially because the buttons are at the back and you can't really see them, and you can't really feel them either, as they're just completely flush with the rear of the panel. So going through these menus is just very cumbersome. Options aren't really where you would expect them to be. So some things will be in image control, but then you'll have color control. But what's the difference between image and color control, stuff like that? So HP should really redo the menu system on this one, but other than that, really like it. Up front, of course, is that 27-inch TN panel. It's 2560 by 1440p, so that's like the butter zone really between 1080p and 4K, with 4K being too hard to drive for most graphics cards and 1080p not quite being sharp enough for spotting enemies far away in the distance. So 1440p really works wonders here. It is a G-Sync monitor as well. What that means is that the input options are incredibly limited. There's DisplayPort and there's HDMI. That's all you get with a G-Sync monitor really, because of the NVIDIA module in there. However, HP was nice enough to also put a USB pass-through in there, so you have two USB ports around the back, awesome for like a keyboard and a wireless mouse for example, to make your desk look really clean. Also, awesome feature that I really like, on the left side of this monitor there's a headphone jack, so that's really easy to use with headphones, so you don't have to route them all the way from your computer. To accompany that headphone jack, HP also had a headphone rest around the back of the monitor, so on top of the stand. It's really nice that they include this sort of stuff. So then, what about the actual gaming experience? What about usage? Well, I already did an experiment on an ROG Swift monitor quite some time ago, where I found that high refresh rates actually do make you a better player. I found out that I was about 27% better on 144Hz versus 60Hz in Counter-Strike, although I'm rubbish at playing video games, so maybe that's not really something to go with. However, the gaming experience super smooth, especially at 165Hz. You do have to overclock this monitor to 165Hz in order to do it, and I don't know whether or not this works with AMD cards. 144Hz does work with AMD cards, by the way. There's no tearing whatsoever. It's just incredibly smooth and just a nice experience to game on this thing. Whether or not it's worth the asking price, that's up to you, but I really enjoy the experience. What I also really like with this monitor is the color rendition. So it's actually a surprisingly accurate color work monitor. I'm not going to use it instead of my BenQ professional color grading monitor anytime soon, but it does an alright job. So if you're going to watch movies, series, it's just going to look correct. It's not perfectly accurate, but it's very close. So I really like how the monitor looks. It may be a little bit too saturated, and the blacks are quite gray looking. So it's a very bright monitor. It will go up to 450 candelas, but the blacks are also pretty bright, so they do look a bit gray. There's not an awful lot of contrast with this one, and if you start messing with settings to get more contrast, the image starts looking a bit weird. So for a final conclusion on the HP Omen 27, HP got it right. Now, whether or not you want to spend this much money on a monitor is up to you, obviously, but for the price you do get some really nice features. The screen is really good, both from a color accuracy point of view, but also brightness, and just that 165 Hz refresh rate is really good. The viewing angles are good as well, for a TN panel at least, and it's just a buttery smooth, great experience when you're gaming or just watching films on it. The monitor itself, very subdued, classy looking. The back has this cool texture to it, but it's not too screamingly gamerish. You can turn off the bottom illumination light, but it's also RGB, so you can match it to whatever you want. It's nice that HP includes a USB hub and a headphone jack as well. Sadly though, the menu system is boring looking and just hard to navigate. It's not very user friendly when it comes to that, but you don't have to use it an awful lot, so it's okay, I guess. Anyway guys, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and also hit the little bell icon, because otherwise subscribing doesn't matter whatsoever. Also, as my house is apparently falling apart from the storms going on here, it's time to end this video. So if you want more frequent updates, there's Instagram and Twitter linked below. And if you want to support this channel with better recording equipment, there's a Patreon link for that. So please go check that out as well. But for now, massive thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.